Thanks for staying with us here on Sports Live on SABC News. We are looking ahead to the French Open as promised. It starts tomorrow. There's so much to talk about, both in the men's as well as the women's draw, and it looks like it's going to be an emotional one for the likes of Rafael Nadal. And to help us look ahead to what we can expect on the clay courts of Roland Garros, we are joined by tennis coach Sabelo Mathebula. Good evening from us on Sports Live, coach, and thank you for speaking to us tonight.
Thank you, Taviso, for having me.
I mentioned that it looks like it will be an emotional one with Rafael Nadal set to play what could be his last French Open. He's been so dominant at the French Open. Do you also get the feeling, even though it's not confirmed, that this could be the last time we see him there?
Well, definitely. I believe that it will. I strongly believe it will be his last, and it will be a very sad one. Not just because it's his last, but the send-off looks like it's going to be a very tough one because, playing against a player like Alexander Zverev, who is currently on form. I think it will be very, very sad, for the tennis community, especially those who will be there. Remember, when you talk about Nadal, we're talking about the king of clay, someone who has been celebrated, by the tennis community internationally. And I believe that, going there, he himself, Nadal, knows that it's going to be difficult. They've played before, 10 times, and Nadal has won 7 of those matches. But, that's on paper. But looking at it now, as you know, Zverev just won the Italian Open. He's on form. He's very much motivated. It will be a very tough one.
Okay, so Rafael Nadal, because he's not seeded, he faces the 4th seed in Alexander Zverev. But I'm sure also Zverev wouldn't have liked to open against a Rafael Nadal, though, coach, even though he's been battling injuries. I mean, he is the king of clay, like you said.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing which is very important, to mention, it will be more of a psychological battle, for Zverev as well. Remember, once Nadal steps, inside that court, it will be, the whole crowd behind him. Remember, he's the king of clay. He might be playing the final, French Open, this year in 2024, and then, everyone will be backing him. I don't know how far, his domestic case will go. Remember, currently, there's the black cloud, over him because of, the domestic, case that he's having. And I believe that, the crowds might use that, against him, during the match. But I believe that his coaching team has prepared that, has prepared him for that as well.
So for you, who starts as favorites and who are the favorites? We've got Novak Djokovic, defending champion, hasn't had a good year. There are the youngsters coming through, Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. How do you see these men's singles going?
And you're correct. When you talk about, Djokovic, you're talking about, we can't talk about it, without looking at what happened since this year started. You have the Indian Wells where he didn't do well. He went out, in the round of 32. You can speak of Monte Carlo Masters. He didn't win. Italian Open, he didn't win. And even now he went to an ATP 250 event and he lost. I don't think he's in a good position. And most importantly, we need to mention that he just, changed his coaching team, bringing in a new coach. I think it was not a good move, especially at this time. You couldn't do it. I mean, you can't do it, around March. You can't do it, before the season starts, maybe somewhere October, November. You can't do that. But then I think it was a very risky move. But again, what I've noticed with him, he's a very difficult player to work with. You could see it from even Goran Ivanisevic. Normally when they used to work together, you could sense it from the facial expression that he had, because it was very tough coaching a player like Djokovic. Otherwise, he is a great player. Let's just give him a chance and see if it can work. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for him as well. When you speak about a tournament like this one, you cannot speak without mentioning Jannik Sinner. In my view, Jannik Sinner, this is his year. And I believe that he was going to take a chance. Yes, Carlos Alcaraz is there. But I think, it will be between the three of them. hopefully a champion will come out of those three players.
Okay, sounds like there's not a show winner. It could be slightly open in the men's draw, but the same can be said about the women, though. It looks like on paper, there's only one winner in Iga Swiatek, who's been dominant in the clay court season so far, having won in Madrid and Rome. How do you see her doing?
Yeah, yes, we.
Oh, coach, are you still there? Can you?
Yes, Iga Swiatek, I think he's a favorite. She's a favorite. Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead, coach.
Okay, great. Well, Iga Swiatek looks, like a favorite, but I would like to give this one to Aryna Sabalenka.
Oh.
I think she's a possible contender, because she has been doing very well. I know that when it comes to clay court, clay surface, it's a different situation. But I believe that she has worked very hard, and I believe that she's ready for this one. But I think let's take maybe the first 2-3 rounds and see where it takes us. Otherwise, Aryna Sabalenka should be one of the players to look for, Thabiso.
Any chance for Coco Gauff?
Yeah, that's a great one. She is yet to prove herself. Yes, after winning, her first Grand Slam at home, I believe that she is yet to find herself, especially when you talk about the clay court. It's another, different environment. She hasn't been, doing very well in that aspect. Otherwise, she still has a chance. Maybe she would go to quarterfinals, semifinals, possibly. But winning it, well, it's something that we need to check from her performance from the first round, maybe up to the third round, and see how it goes. Otherwise, she's a great player.
Okay, wonderful, coach. Great analysis. Looking forward to the French Open. Thank you for speaking to us on Sports Live.
Thank you so much, Thabiso.
Okay, that was Coach Sabelo Mathebula speaking to us here ahead of what should be an exciting as well as emotional French Open, with news that the injury-ravaged or troubled Rafael Nadal could be playing for the last time at his favorite tournament, his favorite venue, and that's why he is the king of clay. Notice how we don't talk about South Africans. We no longer have that top talent now that is competing in these Grand Slams, and I think more needs to be done here to try and produce this talent that we used to have in South Africa, going back to the likes of Amanda Coetzee as well as Wayne Ferreira.